founder of Red Carpet Functions, and you're watching Community Impact. We are doing this show so that we can introduce you to the amazing people right here in Brisbane. And my guest today is the Brisbane comedian and a presenter on ABC Radio, Ashwin Segkar.
We're like the world's slowest boat people. We'll get there. It's fine. But I quite like it when people, they don't really match up to their stereotypes. Like, I could...
Hey Rena, I feel very underdressed compared to you. I thought, this is what comedians and radio presenters wear, that we don't have to dress up, and you've just gone to all this effort and hair and makeup.
You look perfect,
Okay.
Ashwin.
All right, that's
Ashwin,
fine.
you are an amazing comedian. I've heard from so many people, and I'm so privileged that you actually took time to come to the show.
That's okay, comedians have a lot of free time.
And why do you say that?
At the moment during COVID, maybe there's 1 gig a week. So yeah, the rest of the time is just spent writing and just surviving. So yeah, that's fine.
So you're originally from India?
I was born in Kerala.
Yes.
In India, and you were all making fun of my Hindi a little bit earlier. I should tell the audience because I just said "Tora kuch," and apparently that's what
It's
Malayalis say.
cute. It's cute.
What is the Hindi North Indian alternative to "Tora kuch"?
Thoda kuch. It's just the accent.
Oh, it's the accent.
It's
Yeah,
just the accent,
I don't have the
yeah.
accent. So I was born in Kerala. When I was 1, we left. So Dad was a family of maybe I think it was 10 kids. And they grew up in a coconut plantation in Kerala, so very rural village Kerala. And Mum was like a city girl. And so Dad and Mum were romancing. He would turn up at her school, outside her Christian college, and wait for her, and then romance her afterwards. And then they got together. And then Dad decided, after like generations of coconut farming, probably thousands of years of coconut farming in Kerala, Dad decided for a break, and so he left.
He left to New Zealand?
We went to England first, so he was a psychiatrist at that stage, so he did his medical training in England, and we started there in very grey, dreary England.
Wow. Kerala is called the God's own country.
Yes.
It is beautiful.
It is beautiful, it's a very relaxing country,
Yeah.
and I think it's still in my blood. Even though I left when I was 1, I still really love warm temperatures.
Yeah.
Every day I go to the Botanical Gardens in Brisbane, and I go and do writing. Maybe about 3 o'clock my day finishes, and I'll go do writing, and I'll sit near the coconut palms in the Botanical Gardens, and I'll write jokes and everything. So I think I'm still connected to that kind of
and
nature.
the weather.
And the weather. I hate cold weather. Yeah, and so it's
cold
typical Malu in a lot of
Yeah,
ways.
that's right. So, Ashwin, comedian.
Yes.
Like, how did you get that? Like, why?
When I was a kid, I always used to love to write. I think I had to write. Comedians are just writers that happen to speak their words on stage. So I was always interested in writing stories and jokes. And in my early 20s, I made a cartoon, like a little comedy Indian cartoon. It was called Boymongoose. And it was all about Indian stereotypes and things like that we'd heard growing up. But I was too scared to do stand-up. And I think one day I just got old enough where you just stop caring what people think.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, maybe I'd take these jokes to the stage. And so it just started, in the Brisbane scene.
In Brisbane?
Yeah, this is where I kicked it off. It's probably a good place to start, but it's so different. Like you were telling me earlier before that you went to the sit-down comedy club once and you were the only Indian.
That's right.
At the and I noticed that everywhere I go, sometimes I'll tell a joke which is about Indian culture, and there'll be one person laughing. It's the Indian is laughing.
Yeah.
And no one else gets it.
Yeah.
So I would love to perform to a crowd, with maybe like, 2 Indians, 3 Indians, but Brisbane is a very monocultural comedy audience at the moment. But that's where I've learned to perform around surfy dudes and bogans and middle-class people and the full spectrum of Australia.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this for?
7 years now.
7 years.
Yeah.
And you enjoy it. That's why you're doing it.
Yeah, I love it. It's a good world. It's something you can do that, we've all got thoughts about the world. Like, have you got something that you kind of want to say? Like, you seem like quite a passionate person. You organise a lot of events. You're always at Diwali. Is there like a purpose? Do you have something you want to say and get out there?
A purpose. Yeah. You want to do something for the community.
Yeah.
And encourage, inspire them that,
Yeah, partly that. I think you're a bit more selfless than I am. I just want to tell people what I'm thinking.
Okay.
But I just mean stand-up gives you that opportunity to say what's on your mind. And because a lot of times people are not listening to you. They're very busy. They've got their own lives. you're at work, you can't
Yeah.
be talking at work.
No.
When you're at home, there's chores and tasks to do. But stand-up is like one half-an-hour block where people are sitting there and they have to listen to what you have to
Yeah.
say. So I think it's quite
Yeah.
rewarding
Yeah.
in terms of self-expression.
And you know what, Ashwin? It's very hard to make people laugh.
Yeah,
It is a very tough job of a comedian.
yeah.
So, how do you handle that?
I think you get comfortable with bombing. So you get comfortable with failing because it happens a decent, maybe once every 6 weeks, 7 weeks. You'll just meet an audience that hates you. And that's okay, it's fine. They're
Hates you.
Well, once I had to perform I think it was a bike gang. I had to do a gig. I was booked in front of a bikie gang. And I'm doing these cultural references and they're not interested in that. So, and they're just not smiling. They're just sitting there going, yeah, just waiting for me to get off. And you're going to meet that audience.
Oh, wow.
But you just can't take it personally. You just remember the good gigs. So yeah, I think the first thing is to just comfortable with failing. And that's probably the best lesson of stand-up is it's okay to mess up and fail.
And just carry on.
Yeah.
So, Ashwin, Brisbane, you started your career, comedian career in
Yes,
Brisbane.
yeah.
What do you do? What did you do before that?
I had
Your family's okay with you being a comedian? That was my question.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't want to be blunt, but tell me.
They've gotten used to it. I don't think they wanted me to. I tell this story sometimes. Indian houses, they have door-to-door astrologers. Have you had that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And this astrologer came to our house when I was 8 years old, and he did the prediction of how our lives were going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't make the best first impression because I had like a Beavis and Butthead t-shirt, which was an 80s cartoon, really dodgy cartoon in the 80s. And I had no shoes on and short shorts. And my brother was quite well dressed at the time. And the astrologist, I don't know if that's influenced him, but the astrologist said he was going to be very successful and that I was going to have a very mediocre life. And I could see my parents just face the drop.
no.
Because they believe him, right?
Yeah, we do believe the astrologers.
Yeah. So when they heard that, they're like, and then I was like, oh no, this is. And then I said, no, don't worry, Mum, I'll make my own fate, which sounds in hindsight like a very white thing to say in this Indian environment. I'm going to be an individual. So I think that stuck with me. I wonder if that's affected me at all. But yeah, I'm not sure. Basically, it just. What was the question about me being mediocre? Oh, and my parents' attitudes to it. Yeah, so they originally, they don't have a model of someone being a comedian or an actor. It's not a normal career.
Yeah, of course it's not.
And it's hard, and it's not something you do for the money. So if you've come from India because you want to be secure and you want your kids to be secure, I can understand you not liking this. But what I did instead is I chose a safe career for 10 years. I was working in a fertilizer factory, and I was doing like their marketing side. The most boring job, just taking photographs, writing text about liquid fertilizer, just watching my life slip away for 10 years, just being bored basically. And I think a lot of my friends did this. We hit 30 and we're like, we've just wasted 10 years. I can't do this for 30 more years.
Yeah.
Who was I really? Who was I as a kid? And I went back to that, and it was that kid who loved to write and make jokes. So I said, that is actually what I'm like. So that's when I got into the comedy. I said, let's just go back to being that guy. There's not going to be that much money in it, but you have to be a bit entrepreneurial. So you have to find a way to make money out of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can transition into radio, or you can host events, or you can write advertising a little bit. There's a way to make comedy work, so you've got to do those kind of things.
Wow.
So now I'm trying to find that balance.
10 years.
Yeah.
And then figuring it out later that no, this is not what I want.
Yeah.
And many people do that because the parents want us to do that.
Yeah, and the parents want you to do it, but 10 years is your limit. I think that's your natural limit of doing the wrong career, because all of my other friends, one of them started a bar at that same point. Another one started a cat cafe. In London, if you go there, there's a cafe where you can stroke cats and sit them on your lap.
Wow.
She did that. So we all did it. We all broke after 10 years. And so for me, yeah, it was comedy.
Became matured after
Yeah.
10 years,
Yeah.
knowing that, okay, this is not life. Let's do
Yes.
what we really love and like.
Yeah,
The
and
passion.
That's right. And sometimes the people who choose a safe career, they regret it. Like an older Indian couple came up to me the other day, and they'd heard me on the radio, and they said, our daughter wanted to be a radio presenter, but we told her there's no job security in radio presenting, so we made her do law. and she's been miserable for 10 years. And then when we heard you, we didn't realize actually Indian people can be on radio and media now and feel like we feel miserable because we wasted that 10 years of her life. Yeah.
They realize it. You know, Ashwin, I love traveling. So I was traveling to Greece and I was there on a cruise.
Yeah.
It was above 70s. And the funny part was there was a Gujarati Indian couple who were in their 80s. And they saw me and they're like, "You're traveling on your own?" I said, "Yeah, I'm traveling on my own." And you know what they told me?
What?
They said to me, "Do whatever you want now because this time will never come. We regret what we did to our kids." Can you
Yes.
believe?
Yeah.
They said that, you know, we wanted our kid to be a doctor.
Yeah.
One kid turned like the mental capacity just lost and she's not married and she's not even a doctor. They have to look after her because they always pressure her to study, study, study. That's what they tell us to. And coming from them, it just clicked my mind. She's like, what did they just say?
Yeah.
You know? So you're absolutely right about 10 years your life there. Then you're saying that, no, what did I really do when I was 8, right?
Yes.
Let me do it again.
Yeah.
And the best part, what you said, Ashwin, was you have to be an entrepreneur. You have to write advertisements.
Yeah.
Do a radio show, host events.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Yes. And in some ways that's safer. Like during this COVID-19 thing, if you had one boss and that boss decided you weren't needed anymore, you were gone. So when you're an entrepreneur, but you have a few different things, like I've started a business with 2 friends, and I do mainly the writing and that other work, and I fill in on the radio sometimes, and I do comedy sometimes. So in some way, it's actually safer to have 3 jobs rather than one, especially when you love them. So I think, and the other thing that attitude does to kids, it forces their kids to lie to their parents. Because I know so many Indians who have 2 lives.
Yes.
So why would you want your
parents' life and the real life?
The real life, yeah. But I'm like, wouldn't the parents want to see the real life? But they don't get it.
No.
They don't get to see it.
No.
And then when they're older, they try to get that real life. They're like, oh, instead of asking you about your studies and work, they're like, are you seeing anyone? Or tell me about your comedy, tell me about your... So they try
Why aren't you dating? Go out.
Because you scared me for 10 years.
Yes, that's right.
You pay a price for that attitude.
Yeah, that's right. Do you think it will change?
I think so. I think the next generation will come up. Will probably change it. It seems like we need to find the best balance between Indian culture and Western culture.
Yeah.
And that's going to take a while to figure out. Because you don't want to go the other way. You don't want to lose the best elements of Indian culture, like that respect and connection with your parents. Family, spices.
Yes.
Meditation, just ways of stilling the mind. I think so much of Indian culture seems to be about relaxing yourself.
Right. That's right. Meditation.
Yeah.
People don't realize how important it is for everybody.
Yes.
Especially now, at this time of COVID-19.
Yeah.
When people lost their jobs, realizing that what they were doing, they could have done something else.
Yes.
It gave them a break to think.
Yeah.
And you're right. Our culture, so better to have best of both worlds.
That's right. A
balance.
Yeah, and your parents aren't going to have all the answers, so you have to explore what the balance is.
Yeah.
And
our parents always had answers, right? For everything.
It was so disappointing when they turned out to be wrong about heaps of stuff. Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
And also that there's this idea, this is more of a Hindu and Buddhist idea, that, when you get really agitated about something, you can sort of start to get consumed by your emotions, whereas that Indian, Hindu and Buddhist idea is to step back and watch your feelings, watch your body, almost think of your body like an object, that you're watching. So I'm aware of my body getting tense and strict and I'm aware of my mind getting angry. And when you sit back and have that perspective, the emotions don't last as long. And I think that's a really nice culture that emerged in India that you can lose if you ignore everything Indian.
That's right. Right. I love the food.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
End of the day, come on, give me the Indian.
I did, yeah. I'm trying to, and I saw you've got 8 letters in the waiting room, so it'll be 6 by the time I'm finished. Yeah. Yeah.
It's beautiful, right?
Yes.
Tasty. Some are unhealthy, but it's okay.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So Ashwin, you're a presenter on radios, ABC. So what do you do then?
Well, I'm like a fill-in presenter, so when people get sick, I come in and help out and present like weekends most often this year. Yeah, just hosting shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's happening 2020 end, December, Christmas, New Year, anything exciting?
Well, I'm hosting the evening show, Sunday evening, in late December, and a 3-weekend show, the first 3 weekends of January. But yeah, I'm just looking for stories and multicultural stories. So if you know of any good multicultural stories,
Absolutely.
or if you're listening and you know some good stories, get in touch because I need content. And that's one of the things on the ABC, I can share some of those stories.
Yeah, the beautiful, amazing multicultural stories, people that actually have come and made a difference in Australia,
Yes, I want to find those stories. And because otherwise, when you get Westerners to tell the story, it's quite a simple way they tell it. Maybe they'll just cover Diwali and Holi and Chinese New Year. But we've got a lot more stories underneath that.
Yeah.
So I want to find those stories and tell
Wow, definitely. If you're listening, Ashwin Segkar is the person. We'll be sharing the Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yep.
What all other social media do you use?
YouTube, I don't know. I'm supposed to be on TikTok now. Are you on TikTok?
I love TikTok.
Do you? Okay.
I love TikTok.
Can you dance?
I love dancing.
Okay, yeah, I can't dance. That's my problem. Can you do anything other than dancing on TikTok?
I act.
Oh, okay, wow.
I do act. I love TikTok. Bollywood. We all grew up
Yeah.
with Bollywood,
Yeah,
right?
I did. I was a huge Juhi Chawla fan. Yeah.
Juhi Chawla.
Yeah.
I loved Sri Devi. So I used to wear mum's sari.
Yeah.
And I used to be a presenter,
Oh,
doing
right.
the Neelam show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, why did I leave that?
Yes.
So yeah, I got back into it.
Yeah,
And
you-
TikTok was the best place
Yes. Yeah.
to show your talent.
I need to get back on A lot of comedians are on TikTok now.
Yeah, it's a great platform, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's banned in India, but yeah.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it's very political at the moment.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that it's short. I think our kids are getting shorter and shorter attention spans. So TikTok, it's more like, 15 seconds?
Shorter attention span.
Yeah.
Absolutely
And
true.
yeah, so that's when you notice that in comedy, you can't talk for too long. You just got to get to the point sometimes.
Yeah. So is there any time that you felt that, oh my God, no, this is too much for me? In any crowd you felt and you wanted to get out and walk away?
No, because when you're on stage, you've got more adrenaline. It's almost like someone told me a story. This is a true story of they were in Africa and they were running away from a rhino and they were scared. The body was pumping, and then they fell over, and they lost all the fear. And apparently, the nervous system has a couple of levels. One is fight or flight, which is what she was in first. But then there's a final level, a higher level, which is when your body's basically preparing you for death. Which you're totally calm, totally peaceful, and she's totally peaceful when and the rhino changed course, and then she went back down to fight or flight and kept running. So I think stand-up is a bit like that. You lose the fight or flight, and you just get totally calm, and if the audience doesn't worry, is angry or aggressive, you don't care anymore. You're like, oh, well, I'm here already, and you're there. So yeah, you end up with a certain weird calm. It doesn't hit you till you leave the stage.
Yeah, you need a lot of confidence to stand in front of people. And you said that, you didn't want to do that because
Yeah.
you had stage fear.
Yes.
How did you overcome it?
There's a couple of ways.
Yeah.
One of them is physical. So like, I can't stretch around too much, is to just loosen your body up and actually stretch yourself out. There's a psychological technique where, I don't know if my hands are going to leave the screen, but if you become bigger, you actually feel more confident. So you just stretch out for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
And you boost. It's almost like biochemical. You boost your natural confidence if you do that for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
And then there's just self-talk. Like I said with that Indian thing, you're watching yourself perform.
Yeah.
Don't take it too personally. Oh, Ashwin's performing. You can just sit outside yourself a little bit. And then I learned a lesson, which is stop focusing on yourself so much. The audience is there to see you perform. Focus on your jokes.
Yeah.
So just focus on the content rather than you getting self-conscious.
Okay, self-conscious about your looks?
Yeah, your
Okay.
looks. What are people thinking? What are they saying?
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. Just saying,
Yeah.
here's my jokes. Oh, let me get the jokes out.
Yeah.
And focus on the jokes. And the last thing is to just do it. The stage fright will be there first, but after 3 months or so, it wears off.
It wears off.
Yeah.
You know what, Ashwin? I used to think a lot that, oh my God, what people would think, but now it's the stage of, no,
Yeah.
it's okay. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
Yeah.
Because if you give your best out there and you don't care how you look or how you talk, whatever,
Yes.
but you're putting your best out there,
Yeah.
that's what matters,
That's
right?
all you can do. Yeah, you can't beat
Yeah.
yourself up too much.
Yeah.
So did that affect you during your 20s? Were you concerned a lot about other people's opinions?
Yeah, absolutely. As a teenager too, I always used to think that, oh my God, because of my color,
Yeah.
oh, I can't do this, I can't wear that.
Oh.
But yeah, now I'm like, I will
So
do
you had colour fears in Australia or in India?
In India.
Oh, right, okay.
No, Australia, okay. So in India, yes, because I'm from South India,
Yes.
but brought up in the western part of India, Gujarat.
Yeah.
And people, like for me, I'm dark-skinned over there, and people used to call me names and grew up thinking that I'm good, not good enough, and, you know,
Yeah.
I look ugly. When I came to Australia, in the shopping center, I was working, and this gentleman and his wife came and said, "Oh, you've got such a beautiful complexion."
Yeah.
You know what I thought?
What?
I thought even they are mocking me.
Right. Because it was
Think about
ingrained.
that.
Yeah,
What was I thinking?
Yes.
Right. And I'm like, I was just like, oh, you know, okay, yeah. I didn't even know that I should have to say thank you because
Yeah.
I thought they're more. Then my manager, she's like an Aussie.
Yeah.
And she said that, no, Reena, yeah, they are like praising. And she showed me the tanning shop and she's like, people
Yeah.
go there and get tan. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So that's how, you know, that I was very conscious about my color. But now, color is nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's the person
Yeah.
and the confidence to go up there and, as you said, you speak your mind.
Yeah. And stand up also, I'm just going to come back to what you said. The colour thing is something we have to let go of as Indians as well.
Yeah.
Like when we're talking about mixing the best and the worst,
Yeah.
that's some of the worst.
Yeah. The big products are being advertised, but now it's changing.
Yeah.
People are more conscious because it's clearly advertised that, you know, if you put this cream, you'll become more fair, and, you know, they
Yeah.
endorse that. So, but now I'm sure it's changing, Ashwin.
Yeah, I
and
hope
people
so.
are more conscious that, no, it's not what
Not okay.
color. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
will change.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. But
yeah.
and just back on this the stand-up thing, the other thing is it makes you a bit more irreverent. And I think because you're in an environment, in a pub environment with quite drunk people.
Yeah.
And you can't pretend. Like you can't just get up there with a script. You can't act formal. You can't act nice. You just have to be really real with the audience.
Yeah.
Otherwise they're not gonna laugh. So once you've been through that experience, I think when you're in other public speaking situations, you're similarly sort of down to earth because you can't put on airs and graces.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just makes you a bit more playful, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
My friend told me that when you were hosting the show at FICQ and you told about this garlic milk.
Yeah.
What was it, if you could say?
Just Mum hates me because I always talk about stories. Something along the lines of one of the ministers had given a speech about how Indians integrate very well into the community. And I just mentioned that, yeah, we do integrate, but one area my family didn't integrate well was therapeutic treatments. Because every time we got sick, Mum would give us garlic milk instead of taking us to the doctor or getting us medicine. And it was like crushed garlic. She'd put it into milk and we'd have to drink it if we had a fever or anything. And it was the worst. And it was so bad that you would forget you had a fever. So that was a tactic.
That was her tactic.
Yeah, I think so. It was like 4 cloves of garlic and some milk. You never had
That's
that?
funny, yeah, I did.
You did, yeah.
Who didn't?
Oh, good, good. I thought it was just a Kerala
the
thing.
garlic and a turmeric inside that.
Oh, turmeric, yeah.
Yeah,
but
turmeric.
yeah, now it's like you pay $17 for a turmeric latte.
Yeah,
We
I
were
know
getting it for free.
Free?
Just had to
That's
get a
right.
fever.
Yeah, that's right. So you get to have a fever.
Yeah.
Wow, Ashwin, that's amazing. Ashwin, if there's one thing that you would like to tell the viewers, the youngsters who want to pursue the career that you have chosen,
Yeah.
what would that be?
I would just say, if you are thinking about doing comedy, don't rely on just comedy. Start a YouTube channel, do live shows, put on your own sketch comedy or your own 1 hour, perform it at a festival, get into broadcasting like what you're doing. Just mix it up and use comedy as a starting point. Don't stop there.
Wow, that's amazing. And we will be able to find you on YouTube as Ashwin Segkar
Yes.
and Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
And Twitter as well. I think I tweeted 4 years ago. So yeah,
Okay,
I'm
yes,
still there.
you're still there. And we'll follow you on TikTok.
And TikTok soon, yeah. And I'm glad when I speak to white audiences, I have to spell Ashwin Segkar. So it's so refreshing that I don't have to do that with your audience.
We can pronounce your name
Yeah.
and we know the surname too.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's Ashwin Segkar, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Ashwin, for your time.
Thank you, Reena.
Thank you.